Hey guys, it is Tristan with Nerdette's Newsstand, and I am back with Bianca for another Bad Ideas. And today we are going to be talking about the most influential Disney movies of our childhood. Now, by influential, we kind of just mean we loved it, right? There are three specifically that I absolutely adore, and I may gush over a little bit too much, but some of the others I just enjoyed. Even I kind of cheated here, I'm not gonna lie. I included a few that I may have enjoyed even into my 20s. Because they're
Same
so
here.
good. Yay, good. I'm not the only one. So how are you today, Bianca?
I'm doing good. I sneezed and I muted myself.
Dang, you were quick on the reflex. I didn't hear nothing. That's awesome. So I am going to say, you know what? I have those three that meant a weirdly amount to me. I'm going to start with those three, but I'm going to let you go first. What's your first amazing Disney movie?
It's the Goofy movie 1 and 2.
Oh, I forgot about those. They weren't that great to me. Tell me why you loved them.
I was always a Goofy fan when I was small, so seeing a Goofy movie just meant seeing more Goofy.
That's awesome. And it was
Also,
a
I love
musical, right?
Max. Yeah, it has. It's not a musical, but it has some music. The second movie, less. I don't even know. I don't think anybody sang. I mean, there was like some music pieces, like two or something,
Mm-hmm.
but like nobody was like singing. I think, wait, somebody was high, maybe something that, or whether he was high or he got hit so bad he was hallucinating.
Ah, okay. I remember those a little bit from when I was younger, but I was never like a Mickey Mouse person. Were you like into the whole Mickey Mouse and all of them?
Oh
Like the
yeah.
whole group? Were you? I wonder.
Hmm.
My grandparents always tried to push that on me because they were big Disney people, and I'm just like, I don't like it because you want me to like it. I'm a rebel. I'm 7. Like,
I had
uh,
not a music teacher, movie teacher. It was I took a class electives on like movie production and all that
oh,
stuff.
that is so
Mhm.
cool.
He has a daughter. She was like, oh man, it's been such a long time since I was in high school, but she was probably 5 when I
Aw.
was in high school, and he said that no, I don't ever let her watch Disney movies because they're dumb and unrealistic. So she will watch Family Guy.
Wait, what?
He's
Was
like,
he
you want to know the
serious?
real world? You watch Family Guy.
Okay. I mean, I nothing against Family Guy. I love Family Guy. I like American Dad way too much. But
I'm pretty sure everybody likes American Dad
it's
better.
so good. It's so good, but like compared to Disney at 5. Okay, all right, you parent. You do you. That's weird. Your school had class like that?
Yeah, I thought I'd take it. It was extremely hard, and I never want to do any of that again. But now that I have a YouTube channel, I'm kind of doing that.
Yeah. That is so cool. Like the coolest class my school had was like I don't know, auto mechanics or something like
We also
that's
had
awesome.
that, but
Did you?
it's an academy, so that you can choose that as like a career for all your years of high
Oh, that's
school.
so cool. I'm so
Hmm.
jealous. So for my first one, I'm going to go with one that I absolutely love for the first couple, and that is Beauty and the Beast. Ah,
Nice.
I love so Belle and what I'm going to mention later is my princess, right? Like I
Mhm.
absolutely love this girl. She always had her nose in a book. And that was me when I was young,
Which is
right?
the
So like
song of the lyric.
I loved it though. And it was like this woman that was, eventually kind of succumbs to Stockholm syndrome. But before all of that, she is beautiful and smart and all, a good daughter and she's a good person. And I'm like, I love this girl. She's like the perfect representation of what a woman, at least when I was like, 8 years old, because I think it came out in like, okay, I wasn't 8. I was like 4 when it came out. It came out, and I looked. It came out in 1991. I was only 4, but
I didn't exist yet.
oh god, shut up, Bianca. That's not fair. Okay, ignoring that comment. I love it, and even when it goes into the stuff like, so when I was younger, I didn't think of the Stockholmy stuff that went along with it, but the idea that she could find forgiveness and put herself out there to save her father. I always thought that was really cool. Like the selfless nature that she had, how much her father meant to her. And then to find this beast, literally a beast, and be able to love a creature for what they are inside and not on the outside. And I always thought it was such a unique concept. I know it's not now, but when I was young, it was. And I always thought it was really cool. And like the way that the music and it was so pretty. I think everybody remembers the scene, but the ball dancing scene where she's got that dress and the way that it's sung, it just that is my childhood in a nutshell. That song.
If you don't remember that scene, there's something wrong.
Right? I'm going to question your sanity. It's so pretty. And I watched that movie so many times when I was young. And every single time I was still glued to the TV looking at it like, oh my God, he's going to die. Please don't let him die. I know he's not going to die, but it's still so sad. Please, please. And then they came out like, remember when they did those movies that were direct to DVD?
Yes, I saw a few of them.
I saw one after that, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna stick with the original. Like,
the other one deleted the Feather Duster girl.
I know, it was really weird, and like, then they did books and stuff, and the books that explained a little bit more. Like, actually, there was one where Belle had sisters, and it all got so confusing, and I'm just like, yeah, and it was like Belle had sisters, but she was the unselfish one. And when her father where were
all the sisters?
I know. And it was like all these girls, when the father left on his journey, asked for all this stuff, like a bunch of material things. And Belle was like, no, I just pick me a flower. And the flower was what got him caught. So they were all calling her selfish and blaming it all on her. It like reshaped the whole thing, and I hated it.
The dick.
I know. It's so good, though. Beauty and the Beast is always going to be one of those classics that even girls today, it still holds up. Like, the themes within it are so evergreen that it still holds up. I love it. What do you got next?
Okay. So for me, I put the Tigger movie.
The Tigger movie. Oh my goodness. I've never seen it. Tell me about it.
Okay, so Tigger, he's the tiger-looking guy who bounces on his tail. I believe he ends up having some sort of life crisis and realizes that he doesn't have a family that looks exactly like him. And so what he does is that he tries to search for them.
Aww.
And then what the rest of the crew do is that they all dress up like him and, try to make him feel like he's a part of something that actually exists and all that stuff. It doesn't end up going well. And he finds out that they're all lying, and he's just very depressed. What happened in the ending? After he left, he was going up on a snowy mountain or something like that. And it's freezing up there. Dude, like, he can die and stuff. But whatever, I don't freaking remember. It gets resolved. Like, hey, you're part of a family. You're part of our family. And I remember that on VHS, and I'm like, I'm just crying, and I'm like, everybody dressed up as Tiggers is adorable too.
So it's like one of those themes where it's like, not blood doesn't necessarily mean family.
Yes,
like, I love it. That's so cute. I've never seen it before, but I am a little bit older than you, so our ones are going to be a little different because I've got another older one next. I've got Aladdin. Oh, it's so good. That's my other princess. Oh, Jasmine was so cool. You know what? In first grade, so my dad, I believe it was, got me, like, how she had that necklace and the earrings?
Yes.
The real big ones. He got me like plastic version of them, and I wore them to first grade. And I thought I was quite possibly the coolest one in that class that day. And I even got to stand and be the line leader. I was like, everybody thinks I'm cool. They think I'm Jasmine in real life. This is awesome. Then I realized that, they were just plastic and it was just silly. But I absolutely love Jasmine. The music is beautiful. Like, Disney always has really good music, but I feel like a lot of those 90s ones went above and beyond, like, with their composers and with the way they did. I can't remember the name of the song where they're on the magic carpet, right? Oh, Show Me the World. Oh, God.
A Whole New World, you mean?
Yeah, A Whole New World. I'm a sucker for romance. So when I see that, I'm just like, oh, my God, it's so cute. And I love,
was the exact opposite.
Oh, no.
I was like, ew, this is gross.
I loved it. And I loved, like, the idea that this guy wanted I don't know, kind of looking back at it now, it's like he only wanted her at first because she was a princess, but they did fall in love and they did have that kind of happy ever after. I always loved, when she goes into the
No,
hourglass and
wait, but wait. He didn't want her because she was a princess. He met her before she was a princess. She was dressed up like a poor person, and he
oh, you're
saved her.
right. You're right. It's been years. You're absolutely right. I forgot about that. But like he did so much to impress this girl, and that the voice acting from I can't Bill Murray?
Well,
Robin Williams.
for
Robin Williams.
okay, I was gonna say
From the genie is so good. I loved it. I loved the whole idea of kind of and I'm like the most American white kid ever. So seeing that when I was young was like getting weirdly vicariously introduced to this new culture, right? So I'm looking at it and it gets me really intrigued and I'm wanting to learn more about it and looking on the National Geographic Channel. So it's like a way to introduce different concepts that I had never been introduced before. And of course, like Jasmine was adorable. I love it. She was I
just
don't
like
know.
a prostitute.
Yeah, but it was adorable. Shut up. But they did the sequels too, and those kind of were just oh god, they were pretty bad. They were pretty bad. I know they did 3 of them, and I think they even did one a little bit later in the 90s, and they were just like Jafar's Revenge on Planet Krypton. Like it was just so
Wait,
random.
what?
No, that's not really what it was titled, but it was like
There's Jafar's Revenge, and then there's Aladdin 3 King of Thieves, and the
I
King of
think
Thieves.
it was Jafar's Revenge where I was like, ooh, it just didn't work for
Funny
me.
enough, from what I've heard, the second one is the most popular.
I liked the continuation, but it was after that it fell off for me. Like, but I could still go back and watch the first 2 just fine. I love that movie. It's so
I
good.
also
It's
watched them out of order.
why do you watch them out of order?
I didn't know. I remember seeing number 3 as a kid. That's the one I watched first. I went to Miami to visit cousins that I can't speak to because they all speak Spanish. Majority of them speak Spanish.
Oh
Saw
no.
Jafar 2, Aladdin 2, Jafar's Return, and then I saw the first one, and then I was like, "This is the first one. It looks so nice compared to the
Yeah.
other
Oh
ones because it
yeah.
got Disney budget, and then the other 2 were direct to DVD, I believe."
They don't do that kind of stuff anymore. That's kind of a shame. Like you
I
don't
did
get.
hear Tiana has
Oh,
a direct to DVD movie sequel.
they should like if they're gonna do that kind of stuff, why not do direct to streaming? People would like that. You know what I mean?
They
Like
should.
they really should like do you enjoyed Encanto, do something like that, but make it direct to streaming so you don't have to have the bigger budget that the original kind of needs. I don't know why they don't do that anymore. They were pretty good. I was talking about that yesterday on my video. Like we don't get the behind the scenes of the DVD anymore, the commentary. It
Oh, I
sucks.
loved
Come on, guys.
those.
I did too. It was so good. So what do you got?
I have a couple of direct to DVDs on here.
Ooh, I have no idea probably what they are then.
Aladdin 3, and the King of Thieves.
I love it. Aladdin was so good. That world was so good.
It's a very heartfelt movie to me because he's for the past 2 movies he's like, I'm an orphan. Third movie, you're not an orphan. You have a dad, but your dad's a douche and a criminal. And then they just try to rekindle that relationship. Which, funny enough, the King of Thieves befriended Aladdin just to like steal the stuff from the palace, but then he realized that he missed all of this bonding that he could have had. And he's like, oh my gosh, I should like be there for my son and everything. And then the villain from the third movie was literally the scariest villain.
I don't remember.
Who? Big, gigantic, bald, white guy. I just realized he's more paler than everybody else. And he's scary. His face is so scary. And he has oh my gosh, what are those things called? They're not brass knuckles, but they're like, I believe they're rather silver or goldish, and they make a claw instead of a knuckle. And so like he decided to take over because the king was like neglectant on everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was a whole fight between them. And then there was this one song in there that Aladdin and Jasmine sang to unlock some sort of pathway to get an ornament or something like that, to help with the dad and stuff, and that was my favorite song. Yeah, it's a little bit weird because the quality is direct to DVD, but to me
Right.
I thought that's how they looked. So when I saw the Disney movie, the first one, and they're like a lot lighter, it's a lot cleaner, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I miss so much.
It's like if you get used to the direct to DVD quality, then you'll just be super. That'll be your normal, and the other ones will be impressive. That's kind of the best way to do it. I love it. So the next one I have was I spoke a lot about the other two, but the next one I have was like if there was one movie I'd pick, it'd be this one. Like the most influential movie of my childhood ever, and that was Lion King.
Hey,
I love like I remember going to I think it was like a Blockbuster or something at the time with my dad at that point, and him putting like I thought it was such a big deal. He pre-ordered the VHS for me because I was so excited.
you pre-order on Blockbuster?
I don't remember if it was some sort of like place where you buy maybe like a Circuit City or something like that. But I remember thinking it was such a big deal that he spent $20 in order to get this movie for me because it was just like something, he didn't do.
Spent $20.
I know. I was so impressed. I was so excited. I swear I probably watched that movie, and I'm not being hyperbolic, hundreds of times as a kid. I could recite it verbatim with it muted. That's how much I love this movie. It was like my life for years. It came out in 1994, so I would have been 8. So,
I would have been not alive.
Oh my! You are fired. You are so fired. No, I would have been 7, but still, you're fired. I don't even want to think about it. But it was like everything to me, and it's weird that something could mean that much to a person. But it was like my parents were like ones that don't have anything to do with you, so it was like all I did. And like me and my brother would do the things, and he would be Simba and I'd be Nala, and it would be like this whole big thing, and we thought we were so cool. I loved this movie. I can't even like stress how much I did. And I still haven't even seen like they did the remake of it.
The
live action
one.
type, not
it's
live
not really
action.
Live action. It's still animation. It's just
right. More realistic, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's just like I don't know if it can be considered 3D or CGI.
Well, regardless, like I don't want to see it because that
I don't
movie.
want to see it either. It's
you haven't seen it? It's just like that movie. I don't want anything to ever taint that one little memory I had of a kid of good. That was good, and I'm afraid it'll taint it. And I'm afraid like even I haven't watched a movie in years because I don't like. Do you ever have those things that are good in your childhood but also bring you anxiety? Like, It's one of those things where it's like, it was probably the best thing I can think of when I was young. So thinking about it also makes me think about the bad. So I still kind of ignore it. But like the music in that, the Phil Collins, phenomenal work on like, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Love that movie. I could say that 100 times, but it's so good.
The second one had a better song with that.
I never seen the second one.
Oh, you punk. How dare you?
I
don't care
right?
if you don't see the freaking CGI one. I don't care if you didn't see Lion King 1.5, but you didn't see the second one where he has a daughter and you have
Wait, what? Now I have to.
The songs in there slap so hard. You see Scar's side of the family.
Scar was so cool.
They all look evil. They all have an evil face. And I'm like, I'm sorry that you have to live with that evil, ugly face you have. But you kind of look cool.
Like his wife, I gotta see it. Wait, he had a wife?
Yes. He had kids with somebody.
Oh, yeah, duh. Yeah, now I need to see it. That's awesome. I love it. But what do you have next?
So I have Rescuers Down Under, The Rescuers Down Under.
Another one I've never seen.
which you didn't. This is the second one, by the way. The first one, like they both have beautiful animation, even though the animation between the two is so different. It's not bad at all. When the second one is more clean and
Mm-hmm.
brighter, while the first one, the Disney one, is like a little bit more darker and I don't know, rigid, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but again, I watched it out of order because I had the second one in VHS. And not the first one, so I didn't realize this was a second one because it doesn't say number 2; it says Down
Oh,
Under.
gotcha.
So, like, oh gosh, so it's about these two mice. One of them named Bianca.
Ah, that's awesome.
There's these two mice, a guy and a girl. The guy mice calls her Miss Bianca. Miss Bianca is like very beautiful mouse. Like she has a little hat, and she has like a scarf that she brings around with her.
Mm-hmm.
For the guy, he has like a little hat and a t-shirt. Like think of like I don't know, Gus from Cinderella or something. And
Oh,
so I
okay.
guess they work with an organization to help people around the world,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess for this one, it was like a poaching issue because there was this eagle bird thing that like needed to be saved and stuff. And so there's this. Well, the first one was a little girl, but this one is a little boy. He somehow gets like entangled between all this. And I haven't seen the movie in such a long time. Oh my gosh, I do remember that there's this. Oh shoot, what are they called? So there's this rodent that looks similar to like a kangaroo and has a long tail, and he's like
Yeah.
Australian and stuff, and I forgot what breed of rat that is. I'm so disappointed in myself. So he ends up becoming like a wedge between them because they seem to possibly have some sort of romantic interest with each other. And the whole thing in the second part is like, I don't know the guy mouse's name, but he wants to propose to Miss Bianca while this entire thing is going on too.
Oh my
Gosh,
gosh.
I don't remember a lot of this movie. I do remember
I'm.
scaring me at sometimes, but the first one's pretty scary too.
Are they like kind of have a horror aspect to them? Or are they just like scary for little kids?
They can be scary for little kids.
Gotcha.
But hey, even if I were to watch it today, I'm like, whoo, this definitely can scare you somewhat.
Yeah, I totally get that. I think the next one
When
is
you have
kind of.
a large man threatening you with his knives, or machete, I guess that can be scary to an adult too.
Yeah, I get it because the next one I have on my list actually was kind of like that for me. So I have Toy Story, and
Uh,
it's talking about like the Sid aspect of it. It was scary when you were little.
it's still
Like
scary to me now.
I know, right? Like I I liked it. I was a little bit older. I think I was 8 or 9 when that came out. Um, but it it still was one of those movies that I don't know. So I didn't enjoy it as much as some of the others. My mom had a baby when I was 8, I think, and she would always put it on and put it on for background, so I would watch it over and over and over again. And it would always seem to be that I got to those points that were relatively scary, and I would like it would be dark and the baby would be sitting there and I'd be scared, like alone. And I can remember those little things about it. But then even going into like the world they created, some of the stuff they did, I think it was Toy Story 3 or 4. Oh my god, it was so sad. Like, I'm sitting there at the end when they're going down the chute and they're almost burning and they're holding hands, and I'm a grown ass adult crying my eyes out, like, no, no, not Woody, please.
I
But
stopped at number 2.
oh, 3, I think
I
it was
think
3. I
it might have been
think.
4.
I don't remember, but it was so sad. Like I really liked the way that they did the toys coming to life, because
Hmm.
even after, I had went to bed and the movie was over, my mind would not forget about it, right? So I'm
Hmm.
sitting there like laying in bed and I'm a scaredy cat as it is, like scared of the dark. No, totally not scared of the dark. I'm just scared of what's in it. Yeah. And I'm
Same.
like, oh my god, my I have a little Batman over there. Is he trying to wake up? What's going on here? Like, I don't know what's. And I would go in and I would imagine it in my head, and I'm like, but what kind of conversations would my toys have? Would they be like, oh, we have the coolest owner ever? Or would they be like, God, she's so boring. I hate her. I hate when she, like, that's what
That
went
voice
through my
is
head.
so terrible.
Exactly. They'd be like, is she drunk? Like, come on now. What is the matter with her? I love it though. I think Toy Story was a really good one. I enjoyed it. It just, I don't know. I guess the movie is good. It's the memories I have associated with it that bug me. I'm that's going to be a little bit of a theme for a couple of them. So what do you have next?
One of my most favorite of favorites, which is 101 Dalmatians.
Oh, I like that one.
I love animals in general, so I watched this so many times. And it's, I'll watch it whenever. The villain Cruella, the
I was just
puppies.
going to ask you what you thought of the Cruella with Emma Stone.
That's hilarious because I didn't watch it.
Didn't you? I wondered. I wondered.
I was the last live action Disney movie I watched was like Maleficent.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think same.
Because I'm just like, nope, I'm sorry, I can't. My friend that my family friend that I came with, she's like, oh wow, I really liked it, and I'm like, that was crap. How dare you? She is not a fairy. She is a fae. They are naturally evil beings. Just because she wasn't if she was invited to the party anyway, she still would have messed it up because that's what they are. They're malevolent because they can. And watching the
Angelina
Sleeping
Jolie
Beauty.
one.
No,
Oh
watching
yeah,
this
yeah.
the Sleeping Beauty movie. You would always hear stuff like, "Oh, when one of the good fairies would make flowers, she would bring cold weather in just so she can ruin it."
What a jerk. Yeah, how do you,
Exactly.
even going back to Cruella from the 101 Dalmatians, how do you humanize and make a sympathetic character out of somebody that was going to skin fucking dogs? Puppies, adorable little puppies.
It's just like they said they were gonna do it. They want to do a different universe where she doesn't skin puppies, but then I'm hearing that she's just starting out. She'll for some reason hate dogs later on and then skin them, and I'm like, well, that will make no sense at all.
No. Yeah, I don't I think Disney has a problem with not wanting evil to just be evil. Right? There's
Like
always
the
got to
whole
be a
thing
reason.
with the Coco mother, the abuela from Encanto, the mother from Turning Red, like these are antagonists. They don't
Right,
have
they're
to
not
be villains, but
villains.
they're done very well. But for something like that, it's gonna be hard to just like for them to have a history with Disney already, and then you're gonna be somewhat changing the history a little bit. And it's just going to be weird to some people. Not that some people can't like it. Of course, you can like it. If you like it, you like it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I totally get it. They want to make everybody antagonists instead of actual villains. That's the best way to put it. Just let evil be evil. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. Even in Disney movies, we can cope. I promise. We grew up with Sid from Toy Story. We can cope. So
Who
next
Sid again?
Sid what? Sid was the
My
evil kid
memory's
with
bad.
braces. The evil kid with
Ew.
braces
Oh,
that took
ew.
ways apart and put them together and made, yeah, he was
One of the
mean.
many reasons why I didn't like the first movie. He just looks so ugly scary that every time I think of Toy Story, I think of him and then I want to vomit.
Yeah. I totally get it. So next I have Hercules. Hercules was like, I don't even know necessarily that the movie was that good to me. It was the music. I've always loved music. I've always loved any sort of music. And that was one of the movies I could like play while I was doing homework or something, and I could enjoy the music. And I loved, it was kind of a different animation style from what I was used to, because you go from like, Toy Story or Lion King to that real like funky animation, the way they do Hades and stuff, and the way they make everything a little bit different. And it kind of introduced me to the concept of like mythology, and I loved it. And
And
plus when I,
did you say something like when you started learning more about mythology? Hades was never a bad guy. He just wanted to see his freaking wife. Why is Hades the villain, but Zeus is the hero?
no, but because I wasn't that smart. But it was a good one. It was, I don't ever hear people really like gloat about that movie like they do the princesses and other stuff. I think it's kind of one of those that flew under the radar. Maybe not. I guess I wouldn't remember, but it doesn't seem to. It's one of the underrated Disney movies, in my opinion.
And also one of the Disney movies that has like a guy as a main cast, as the main protagonist guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I do like the girl in it, though. She's kind of badass.
Meg.
Meg, that's what it is. She's kind of awesome.
She's so
a little
skinny.
bit of a bitch.
Every time
She is
I
so
see
skinny.
her, every time I see her, I'm like, "Can you eat some meat or something?
Like,
Like,
just anything,
can I see you eat
please?
a steak?"
Yeah, and that's what I mean. That animation style was a little bit different, and that's kind of the way they put her on the screen, the way they made Hades. I liked it.
But everybody was pretty exaggerated.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look at Hercules. The muscle.
The muses. Oh, my favorite part of the movie.
It's a good one. It's got the music. The music still holds up, like with Lion King and stuff. I could still listen to it. I really could.
I still listen to a majority of them.
I still, every once in a while, I get in like a Disney music funk, and I'll listen to the old songs. I love them. They're nostalgic. Plus, they still hold up. So, what do you got?
I have looking at the full title. Dang. I took the picture. I take a picture just so I can remember my list. And I butchered the picture. No, it was a screenshot. I don't know how I butchered a screenshot.
How do you butcher a screenshot?
It's Pocahontas 2, another direct-to-DVD.
I never seen that. I don't even know if I seen Pocahontas once. The first one.
It took me a while to like the first Pocahontas movie because I'm just like, the only song I liked was Savages, and I still think that way. But besides that, so she goes with John Smith to England. No, wait, sorry. Something happened to John Smith in England. Like he was on some sort of mission or something, so she went over there to, I guess, find out what was going on, but also make peace with people in England and all that stuff. So she ends up meeting another guy named John Smith. So, like that wasn't freaking confusing.
Right? Oh my goodness.
When she talks to them, she says their full name. She's like, John Smith. And I'm like, John Smith. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. They're both named John Smith.
Just call him John.
John 1, John 2.
Right?
But I actually liked this movie a lot more, and I know I'm gonna get hate for that because this is the most hated direct to DVD sequel.
Is it really?
It is. It's the most hated one, and I'm like, I like it though. Well, because it's again also that scariness factor the first one had, which made me like the second one because the second one wasn't really as scary. You still have the same evil villain from the first movie, but now we're on his turf, so it's going to be a little bit different. I believe though one thing that kind of scared people, I guess, was this one thing with a bear. Like they were using a bear as entertainment, but they were also hurting the bear. And I was like, no, don't hurt the bear. And so Pocahontas just steps in, but they also change her. They make her put on their clothes, that stupid white wig thing, put some white makeup on her face and all that stuff, so she had to learn their customs and everything. And I'm going to say it, I liked this version of John Smith better than the first movie John Smith. Like,
that's awesome.
He is much more polite. There was this one thing that he said, and I was like, oh, you shouldn't have said that. But despite that, he was like, I liked him. He was polite. He was kind. He was sincere. The hummingbird, which hated the first John Smith from the first movie, the little hummingbird that Pocahontas has. He loved the England the second John Smith from this movie, and because he complimented him. He's like, what a fascinating creature, great, blah blah blah. And the hummingbird was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I love this guy. And I'm like, hey, the approval. And so like it was this whole fight between which John Smith she was going to choose in the end. Spoiler alert, she chooses the one from England. I just realized the first John Smith is from England. Is he? Or is he from the US? Because he doesn't have the accent. But this John Smith from the sequel, he has an English accent.
Well, isn't the story that he comes over from England?
That's what I'm like wondering why he doesn't have the accent. I'm
Yeah,
like so
that's really
confused.
weird now looking back. And Pocahontas wasn't one I was interested in because I was already a little bit older and I had learned the story about it. So I'm like, oh my God, she's like 12. They like
Yeah.
beat and rape their villagers. Like how do I forget that and then go into it? I think I was just too old when that movie came out. I don't know.
I didn't
That's
learn that stuff until later in high school.
yeah, and I don't think I
And
was in
then
high
John
school. Oh my
Smith, the
God,
first
I'm
one was
old.
like a narcissist. Well, the second
Yes,
John Smith wasn't great either, but like movie wise, I guess.
that makes
Like
sense.
it's fascinating because the second John Smith actually had like a fascination with her, you know, not because she was like pretty or whatever.
Right.
Because the first John Smith is that iconic scene of he's about to shoot her, and then he's like, "Oh my gosh, she's hot. Hi, how are you doing? My name is John Smith. I'm from over here." And I'm like, "You little punk."
I
He
just looked it up.
killed
It came out in 95.
Kocoum. Kocoum was his name.
Mhm.
Yeah, they killed Kocoum. I didn't realize it, but I'm like, he's not a bad guy. You know, you were always taught that you know Kocoum, the Indian that was killed by John Smith. You're like, oh, he's a piece of crap.
Right.
He's like an abuser. Why didn't he freaking smile? And then you were watch the movie. You're older, and you're like, oh no, he's not even a bad guy. He's just trying to do his job. He thought she was gonna get hurt. You know,
I
and
just
I'm
looked
just
it up. It
he
came
didn't
out
deserve
in
to die.
exactly. It came out in 95. I must have just missed it because I wasn't old enough, or I wasn't too old to watch it. So, like, I must have just. I thought it came out in the 2000s. Wow. I had no idea. Weird.
Depending on which month, if it was November, then I was born. If it wasn't November, I still wasn't born.
Oh my God. You're the same age as my little brother. Oh my goodness.
I am?
Yeah, he was born in, January 95, but still.
Dang it, he's older.
You're good. I haven't seen him in, oh God, I can't even remember, 10 years, probably at least, if not more. We don't talk. So, next I have Monsters Inc. I love, it's so good. This one I know I was older for because I remember watching it with my friend, and she loved this movie so much she was upset. I forget the baby's name. They just call her Boo.
Yes.
I think
They called her
Boo.
Boo
Oh
'cause
my!
they didn't know what her name was.
She introduced me to this movie, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like 13 or 14 years old, and I'm like, why am I watching this movie that's kids? And by the end, I'm like, I love this movie. It's so cute. The baby with the little pigtails, and oh my gosh, it was so good. And I love the idea of like monsters behind your door coming out at night. I thought it was such a cool concept. It's so
The
fun.
sequel one was so different.
And then didn't they do like Monsters University or something also?
I said sequel. I meant to say it was prequel, I guess.
Like,
Which apparently didn't it ruined the canon, I guess.
oh really?
Because in the first movie, Mike and Sullivan, they talk about how talk about how long they've been with each other, and they said, "Oh, listen, we've been doing this since like kindergarten, you know,
Right.
and you know we've been friends since we were kindergarten." But in the Monsters University, they met at the university, but that was just only one thing.
Well, that still, I don't like they made kind of Sully to be a jerk in that one, from what I remember.
And I hated that. I'm like, no, from how you see him in the original movie, I'm like, no, I don't want him to be the mean jock guy. Why can't you make him the nice jock guy? Be like, hey man, bullying is wrong.
Yeah, he was like the gentle giant. Why make him a jerk? No, that was a good movie though. Like, I love I swear, no matter what age I was, any movie with like little kids and stuff and that, and it's gonna be my kryptonite. Boo was so cute. I was so sad when he had to leave her behind, and I was like, oh, I guess it makes sense. She needs a mom, but the monster, come on now. So
It sucks
cute.
because they made a whole storyboard.
What do you mean?
The storyboard for the sequel. I remember looking at it, and I'm like, oh. I'm like, okay, they showed something what could have been, but they didn't leave any explanation for it. So you kind of had to like figure it out, I guess.
Ah, that makes sense. Well, I mean, I think I would have rather had him do a sequel than a prequel. Like, it makes
Yeah.
more sense. Prequels don't seem to do as well either. Like, financially, they don't. People want to know what happens after. Come on now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh well. What do you got next?
Okay. So this one was I was a little bit older. I don't think I was in my 20s yet. But it's Big Hero 6.
That was on my list too. I took it off so we could have the same amount. That's awesome. I'm glad you mentioned it. It's so good.
It was just like I felt so dumb watching the movie.
Why? Why did you feel dumb?
Because it's
they're so smart.
Smart people.
Do you know they still?
Okay,
I think they still make a comic about it.
Yeah, I think so. I heard there was also a TV series. If there is, I'll go check it out. I think it's in cartoon, like not 3D CGI animation.
Right.
And so
it was really good.
Yes. I also didn't know that the girl named Lemon, who was like the enthusiastic, really, really, really tall girl. I didn't know she was Hispanic.
Oh, I didn't either.
Yeah, it was like nothing struck her as Hispanic to me, so I thought she was just like a tall white girl. I don't remember if she was blonde or not, but the way she pronounces Hero's name, which is Hiro, that should have been that should have been a click for me, since like in Spanish we would pronounce it the same way. And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that was one of those movies like that you can enjoy, like you can like as a kid, but even into your 20s or older, that was one like it was a familial, it had familial themes in it, and I thought it was like a really good one for the whole family. And then they got in early on that superhero aspect and kind of like more logical superheroes, not I was bitten by a spider, right? So like I loved it, and I love I don't remember his name, the big marshmallow guy. He was so cute. What was it?
I loved Baymax.
Baymax, that's what it was.
Baymax. Bay. Baymax.
Oh, okay. He was so cute. Like the whole idea, and then it was so sad, like him losing his brother. I love that movie. That's a good one.
I was hoping he would come back at the end. Oh, I loved him so much.
I know. I love the name Hero too. Like that was another one that introduced me like to a different culture, because I like Hero. I'm like, well, how can that be someone's name? And I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense now. Like it's a freaking cool name.
I was also confused, but that's because I didn't know he was Japanese.
Yeah.
I don't know why my mind was like, oh, he's just a black-haired kid. And then like his brother's name, his brother's name was Taka something. And then I'm like, oh, they're Japanese. Oh, they're Asian. Oh. Okay. Funny enough, the brother looks more Asian than he does.
Oh yeah,
and the
for
auntie
sure.
Doesn't look Asian either.
Is it Tadahashi?
Yeah, something like that.
Tadahashi Hamada. I just looked it up. I cheated.
Stan Lee is also great in this. That was such a surprise. Yeah, so for one of the kids, he's like their dad or uncle or something.
Oh, I don't remember that. Now I'm gonna have to look it up. That's cool.
It might have been a what's it called? A freaking after credit scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, whoa. And it was amazing. I loved it. It's such a fun movie too.
It is.
And it was also sad.
Really sad. But like also had really good themes, like about friendship and stuff like that. So yeah, that was a good one. The next one I have would be like if Lion King was my childhood pick, this would be my adult pick. And that's I mean I wasn't really an adult, but I was in my low 20s. WALL-E. Oh my god. I love WALL-E so much. How can you take this in a a good portion of the movie is silent, right? I'm not silent, but like there's no dialogue. You take this garbage bot and make me love it. How do you do
call him garbage?
No.
I was like, I thought you liked the movie.
I love the movie, and like it is so weird that Disney is able to do this. Like, and it has like really, really woke themes in it, if you think about it. Like the entire movie is super fucking woke. Like it's, about climate change, about WALL-E cleaning up the earth and big tech taking over. It is these people that have gone to space because climate has completely ruined the earth. And they're all big. They don't do anything for themselves. They don't do really anything. Like they
Man,
have
I
this
want
like
that life.
advanced society, right? They have this advanced society, but like it's not living; it's just life, right?
Yeah.
And then they're able to eventually come back because of Wally and Eva. And I fucking love the way Wally says Eva. He's like, Eva. Oh my God. It's so good. It's so sweet. It's like these machines love each other and they found a little seed and they protect it with their life. And now I want them to have little garbage babies. It's so
Unfortunately for
good.
me, I couldn't even finish the movie. I got
What?
too bored.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, Bianca. You are crazy.
Looking at the fat people were interesting though.
they were kind of like, I don't know, like they had to learn their lesson too. You would think like losing the earth would be enough to learn your lesson, but they had to, with greed and corporations, they had to learn their lesson. And watching, it's so funny. I don't know if you probably didn't get to it when they get back to earth and they get off their little hover chairs and they fucking walk up on the earth for like the first time ever, right? And they walk like little toddlers. Like I can't take it seriously, but it's so good. It's like this story about humanity and all the things that could happen if we'd take advantage of what we actually have today. And of course then you have like Molly and Eva. I love it. It's so good. You're crazy.
Thank you.
You said thank you. So what do you have next?
So this one was also like literally how long has it been? A few years ago? Not 5, I'm pretty sure. Incredibles 2.
I've not, you know what? I've never seen either one of them. I've heard good things.
The first one's really, really good. It took it's just like with I think Pocahontas. I said it took
Mhm.
me a long time to try to get into it. Like I've seen it so many times, but I've always was like, yeah. But after watching the second movie, I watched the first one again. I'm like, no, this is really good. The second one is literally almost the same thing as the
Oh
first movie.
no.
Though instead, like the first movie is like superheroes are outlawed, and the dad like got really fat and huge, but he wants to like make it back over there, and so he got this opportunity by somebody sketchy, but he doesn't think about it, to go back into the
Idiot.
field.
God.
So he works out Edna Mold, which is a designer for superhero costumes. She makes up a costume, blah blah blah. He's doing missions, lying to his wife that he's just got promoted when he actually got fired for attacking his boss. And so that's when he realized that how he's been like doing everything and stuff. Uh, there was like a villain uh, who actually was his big fan when he was a kid. The villain was the fan as a little boy, but then became
Oh,
a
okay.
villain when he got older because he didn't want him to be his sidekick. And he got so hurt by that, and I'm like, no
Oh my
dude, you
gosh.
could have died. Like, go home. Go home,
Oh
buddy,
my
go home.
gosh.
His name is Buddy, by the way. But he took that so seriously and became like a really good villain. So the wife ends up finding out, gets angry, asks designer lady to make her clothes to get her husband back. Kids find out what's going on, so they do the same. And then so they all end up trying to fight this fanboy.
Oh my gosh.
And that's the first movie. So the second movie, the only ones that are like being heroes right now are the Incredibles family and the Incredibles family friend, Frozone, which is a superhero name. I forgot his real name. So they feel like they want to still try to reintroduce superheroes back to the people. So they ask the wife instead, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, are you telling me that I can just like go out into the field again?" And they're like, "Yeah, you want to do it?" And she's like, I want to do this. I miss the rush, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. And so the dad stays home with the kids while she goes and fights crime. So This movie did get a lot of flack. Apparently the
Did
villain
it?
was predictable, and I'm like,
Oh.
I didn't know. I felt dumb because everybody knew except me. Because the twist was like, you see this guy wreaking havoc on everything, so everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's this guy, and then it turns out it's not that guy, it's a girl.
Oh my gosh.
And they're like, well, look at her face, she looks like a villain. And I'm like, well, I can see that, but she's acting so freaking nice, how am I supposed to know, man? And I'm
Oh
just
my
like,
gosh.
well, a lot of people didn't like it because it was a copy and paste, but
Right.
I enjoyed it because the dad was getting what's it called? He was getting used to being a stay-at-home dad and spending time with
Mhm.
the kids and everything. And then one of the little baby Jack being with Edna, and she can test out like his powers, his multiple powers that he has, because he's like the strongest out of all the family members because he has multiple different powers instead of just one.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
but they were like, oh well, this is woke, and I'm like,
What?
how? And they're
Oh my
like,
gosh.
because the wife is like the hero in this copy and paste movie, and I'm like, I don't think so. I want to see her do it. Like it's not a big deal if you have a problem with it because it's copy and paste and all that stuff. Yeah, that's completely fine, but it's not woke. I'm pretty
Right.
sure it's not better than the original, but I did like it a little bit more than the original. Like I do like seeing stay-at-home dads connect with children. He's
Yeah,
like
how
teaching
is
his
that
kid
woke? That's
math and
showing
everything. He's like, that's not how
showing
you
good
do it.
father. Yes.
And
It's
he's like,
showing how
no,
to
we
be a
do it
good
like
father.
this, Dad. And he's like, why
Aw.
do they do it like that? And he's like, I don't know.
That's so cute.
And
I might
I
have to
just
check him out.
and this time there's no secrets. In the first one, he had to keep the secret away from his wife, but for the wife, it's out in the open, so he knows she's doing this, so they're not really hiding anything.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense. It makes it easier too. So next
Sorry.
oh no, you're totally fine. I have Tangled. I love Tangled.
Ooh, nice.
Rapunzel is so freaking cute. Again, I was in my 20s. But it is so fun. Like everybody knows the story of Rapunzel, but they change it a little bit. I love the mother. I love like that song Mother Knows Best. Oh, it's so good. And I think it's Flynn Rider, right? The idea that he is just some like super insecure dude, but playing the part kind of. And what was it? The Japanese lanterns, that scene where they do the music. It's so pretty. And it kind of takes this like twist on the tail, whereas a lot of times it's like, Rapunzel, let down your hair, I'm gonna save you. And it's like, yeah, she's gonna definitely help save herself in this one, and I really like that. It's not woke, I swear. It's just really good, and the music again. A lot of these movies that I mentioned have like the music is a big draw for me, and again, romance, right? Like these two together at the end having their little like becoming queen and king or prince and princess, whatever it is, and but the only thing I hated is that like she cut her hair. Like,
Oh.
why would you do that?
Then watch
It
the
was
series where she has her hair back.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that existed.
Oh yeah, I heard it's super good.
Really?
Yeah, I heard it's fantastic. And I'm like, I've been having it on my list for so long, and I'm like, I gotta watch it. And then YouTube recommended me this random clip, and I'm like, holy crap, that's so good.
Oh no, I need
There's
to
still some
see it.
singing in here apparently, but the vocals are so good. I was like, I definitely have to see the show.
Tangled was so good. I love the music in it. Like the mother, you kind of sympathize with her, but you kind of also realize how fucking evil a person has to be to do that. So it's like, I don't know. I don't think Mother knows best. Not gonna lie. I think she's a little bit psychotic.
Mother.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I love Tangled. I think it was a good twist on the original Rapunzel tale in it. I didn't know there was a
funny
sequel.
because I know Tangled is actually a really good movie, but I just didn't enjoy it. I know it's a good movie though. I'm like, oh wow, this is a really good movie, and so they're like, you like it? I'm like, no, not really. It's not my thing, but it's a really good movie.
It is a really good movie, and it has great music. And then when Flynn gets hurt, oh, it's so sad.
Oh,
and the horse is so funny. I can't believe you didn't like it. You're crazy. So what do you got? I don't know. How many do you have left?
After this one, I just have one more.
Okay, yeah, same. Go for it.
Cool. This is also a direct to DVD sequel. Cinderella 2 Dreams Come True. And they're like, well, what's wrong with the first one? The first one's amazing. That also was another movie that took me a long time to like get into.
Right.
But then I started appreciating it and stuff. But my favorite one was always the second movie, because to me, I mean, I don't think this is considered world building, but I saw people outside of the palace, and I found it was like little mini stories,
Right.
as an entire movie, and I loved it. I got to see a baker, and one of the evil stepsisters, Anastasia, had a crush on the baker, but she wasn't allowed to because of her mother, and it's like it's best. And then
That's awesome.
Jacques, one of the mice, he like fell in love with a human girl, and so he asked the fairy godmother to make him human so he can see her. But then he didn't realize that there was like a mouse girl who was interested in him, and he should have, like, I don't know, appreciate what he got or something like that. The baker one was obviously my favorite one because that was the most, it was cute despite me not liking romance. And I'm like,
So it
if
was
you
like
can
an
make a
anthology
kid.
type movie?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And you also had a Cinderella. I believe she was making a cake for the king. I don't remember. I think it was his birthday. Yep, it was his birthday, and they butchered it. And the
Oh
cake was
no.
everywhere, but he loved it anyway.
Oh
It
my
was wait,
gosh.
it was pudding. It was chocolate pudding. The chocolate pudding looks so good. Not gonna lie.
Now I want pudding.
I like vanilla pudding better.
Oh, see, yes, you definitely are crazy. I love it. Next I have, okay, we got to talk about Up. Up, Up in that first sequence, like the rest of the movie isn't bad, but that sequence of the old man up until where his wife passes away, if you that doesn't pull on your heartstrings, I don't think you're fucking human. Oh my god. It is so well done. I like the different animation style too from like the typical Disney movie, but like that was so well written and it was so well crafted. The music was so perfect and it was such a typical story. As mean as that sounds, it was the life together, the woman passing away and the man having a broken heart. We've heard that story before, but the way that that opening sequence was done was so beautiful. Again, a sucker for romance and kids, because then you have the little boy who, inevitably gets trapped in this house when it goes, for lack of a pun, up, and they have to work together. But the rest of the movie's okay. You've got the little, what is it, the dog named Doug and stuff like that. But that opening sequence just needs to be talked about on its own. It's so good. Did you cry?
On my first watching, no. On my second watching, yes.
Yay, you're human.
I know. I try not to be.
It's so good. I really like Up. You know what? To be fair, I couldn't like rewatch it a bunch of times just because the rest of the movie was just okay to me. But that opening sequence alone was so good. I love it. So sweet. So what's your last pick here?
Okay, my last pick is one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. I try to watch it at least twice a year, and that
Ooh.
is Sleeping Beauty.
I freaking knew it! I knew it. I love it.
It's my favorite movie of all time. The villain is fantastic, just plain evil. Sleeping Beauty, Princess Aurora, despite what people say, she does have a personality. And there's so many things that people say, and they're like, oh, I don't like this movie because of this and this, and I'm like, that never happened in the movie. And they're like, excuse me, and I'm like, how long has it been since you watched this movie? And they're like, I don't know, 20 years ago. I'm like,
Yeah.
exactly, I watch it twice a year, every year, and so I know what I'm talking about. That never happened. They're adding all this problematic stuff to it, and I'm like, no, that's not how it went. And they're like, like the one of the things that people complain about is that she says after she meets Prince Philip that she's not supposed to talk to strangers, but then he starts singing, and then she starts getting into it, and then they dance, and they're like, I thought you, like, what was up with that? And I'm like, the reason she said she can't, that she's not supposed to talk to strangers is because the fairies, who she doesn't know they're fairies, she thinks they're her aunties, they put in this idea that she shouldn't be talking to anybody. And that day was like on her 16th birthday, and the only people she's talked to are the fairies and the animals in the forest. And not only that, but right before she started singing and before the prince just, hey, how's it going, she literally was singing a song and telling her story about a dream that she had, that she met somebody and that they were dancing and that, you know, they were about to kiss, but then she woke up and she realizes that was all fake. So she wants that human interaction. She hasn't spoken to anybody in 16 years. And so I always watch behind the scenes of from the movie, that I'm watching so many on YouTube and just keep rewatching. And one of them was like, so here's the personality we decided to give her. We wanted to give her a sort of like elegance, royalty, whatever, despite her not knowing that she is one. And so we gave her like a queen atmosphere, like how the way she speaks and how she what's it called, how she, yes. And then, you know, I'm hearing the dialogue and I'm like, and how she acts and everything, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much like a queen. And it's like she calls her little aunties dears and stuff. And it's just so cute. And like, you know, everybody says, you know, who's the prince, like who is the first prince that had like the most personality or whatever. It is Prince Philip. Prince Philip for the win. My favorite prince, the best prince in my opinion. Who wanted to, like, he didn't care about marrying a princess. He was like, hey dad, I fell in love with this peasant girl, can I marry her? He's like, no. And he's like, dad, come on, this is the 14th century, you know, leave that behind.
It's the 14th century.
It's like, it's only the 14th century, you know. And you know, he loves his dad so much too. It's no hate or anything,
right?
And the two kings, Princess Aurora's dad and Prince Philip's dad, you know, they have a bond, they're friends and all that stuff. The queen, unfortunately, doesn't have anything. Princess Aurora also suffers through that in the movie. She doesn't, she does have personality. She does want to do stuff on her own. She's just, it's not the type to rebel, because she understands, after the fairies told her, hey, you can't meet this guy in the woods because, boom, you're a princess and you have to marry a prince. She was super sad about that, but she went through with it anyway because she knows, you know, that's what she's supposed to do. You know, so I would love to see her, like, talk more and all that stuff. I want to see that personality so much more throughout the movie, but you can't because, you know, you see a lot more of the villain than you do the princess. And I think that's fun. They just wanted to do a good versus evil story. That's it. And a good versus evil story is what we got. And it's fantastic. And I was just so amazed by the art direction, and the art and what they did. And it's like, no wonder this movie got Disney bankrupt. The movie did very, very bad.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. I believe it made $6 million.
And is that, I don't even know, how long ago was that? In the 90s?
1959.
Oh my god, I said the 90s. Oh my goodness.
So like they hired fashion designers. They hired this, I don't know if he was a Renaissance painter, but he was an extremely talented painter, and apparently once he started, he just couldn't stop, and that's what brought the movie to so much delays because they all kept fighting. He wanted to add more, and they're like, no, that's too much.
Oh no.
And you know, it was too much. And then, you know, they got a freaking opera singer. They got the lady who also played the Maleficent, Lady Tremaine, and Cruella de Her name escapes me at the moment, but she acted out as Maleficent and Princess Aurora, the voice actress. She also acted out as Princess Aurora because everything was like not only hand drawn, but they moved in the costumes as reference.
Oh, that's cool.
To the movie, which they do a lot in their other movies too. Which is why you see so much copy and paste. of dances and stuff. And,
Oh, that makes sense.
and it was like they took so much time and effort. They're like, so Princess Aurora's dress, her normal attire, we want something that's beautiful. We want something that's not loose, but also like flexible in a way. And, and what they did was boom, how they got that. And I'm like, that's genius. And it sucks that they didn't make a lot of money on it. And it got them bankrupt for, they didn't make a movie for 30 years because of that.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea. Now I need to go rewatch it just because of how infectious your tone is about it. I love it.
And hearing a Disney villain say hell was pretty fun.
That's true. I should have saved a good one for last, but I totally didn't. Yours was so good. I saved Bolt.
I'm not surprised.
It's still a good movie. It's still a good movie, and it's really cute.
It's alright.
It's alright. I love the animals in it. I love that animals talking and stuff. I love I can't wait till we see the super friends and stuff, or super pets. I'm sorry, but it's so cute. And you've got Bolt who thinks he's this super dog and doesn't realize he's living this life that's totally normal. And you've got, I think it was Miley Cyrus did the voice acting, and it was so good. And then you get a kitty and the little gerbil. I like it. And by the end, you finally get this story of this child actor and dog actor that retired just because they want normalcy and want a normal life. It's so sweet.
I totally forgot about that. It's been so long.
I haven't seen it in years either, but I've seen it quite a few times. It actually had a video game too.
Oh, I remember that. Wait, who played Bolt?
I don't know. I know Miley Cyrus did the girl.
The girl played was Miley Cyrus, and the boy, it was somebody. It had to be somebody famous because it's a Disney movie.
Definitely.
I was like, The Rock? No, it's not The Rock.
No, it definitely wasn't The Rock. Oh, that's
John
funny.
Travolta. That's what it was.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains a lot. But yeah, it was a good movie. It was sweet and it was wholesome, and it had little animals in it. No wolves.
Animals are great.
Exactly. So, yes, all of the best right here with your Disney movies. Make sure you guys check out Bianca's channel. It will be in the description. And do you have anything you want to add before we go, Bianca?
The Sleeping Beauty is the best movie of all time. And you
right
can literally screenshot
blanking.
any scene, and it's wallpaper material.
That's awesome. Now I gotta go rewatch it. Your passion is so infectious. I love it. All right, we will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.